You've heard of Samuel Small, perhaps, a lad of bulldog breed who saved his sergeant major's life. A most unusual deed. At Waterloo he fought and bled, and when the war was won, the king a medal struck for Sam because of what he'd done. So Sam came up to palace gates in famous London town. A sentry in a busby hat was marching up and down. The sentry stopped and looked at Sam. "Excuse me, mate," said he. "Might you be Private Samuel Small?" And Sam said, "Aye, that's me." "Well, get inside," said sentry, "quick," and gave the gate a slam. "King's got a medal there for thee." "I know he has," said Sam. When Sam pushed open palace door, he stood in holy hush. He found himself inside a room, all marble busts and plush. Archbishop, in a red cocked hat and breeches white and blue, said, "Is your name Sam Small, my lad?" "It is," said Sam. "How do?" "Don't dally then," says Bishop, sharp, like nursemaid wi' a pram. "King's got a medal there for thee." "I know he has," said Sam. Upstairs, Sam met Prime Minister, a top hat on his head. His trousers there was velveteen. One leg was blue, one red. He looked at Sam all haughty-like and asked him, "Might you be a man called Private Samuel Small?" And Sam said, "Aye, that's me." "Well, don't keep King all night," he said. "Surprised at thee I am. King's got thy medal there for thee." "I know he has," said Sam. But when Sam came on King and Queen, his awe he couldn't smother. For there sat King, one hand out thob, and sceptre were in t'other. Sam grasped the situation like in less than half a jiff. He gave a very smart salute and knocked his hat skew-whiff. "Thou must be Samuel Small," said King. "That's right," said Sam. "I am." "Well, I've a medal here for thee." "I know thou hast," said Sam. "Don't be impatient, Sam," said King. "Before 'tis handed you, there's certain grave formalities which must be gotten through." "The VC's granted Samuel Small," the King began to read, "for saving Sergeant Major's life. It's a most unusual deed. Dragged him to safety under fire while serving in the line. Now tell me, Sam, how came you do this deed so brave and fine?" "Well now," said Sam, "it were like this here. That Sergeant Major come toward our trenches very drunk, waving a jar of rum. And just as we was letting forth a loud triumphant shout, a damn great gun, excuse me, Queen, went off and laid him out. I rushed and grabbed the precious jar. He seized me round the tum, beg pardon, Queen. So he got saved as well as jar of rum." "But if there'd been no rum," said King, "though death might sound his knell, thou wouldst have done that same brave deed." "I would," said Sam, "like hell." "Did you hear that?" said King to Queen. She said, "Indeed I did." "Don't give him ruddy medal then." And no, they never did.